A Gael is an ethnic name for those descendants of a group of Celtic peoples who spoke or speak the Celtic language known as Gaelic, or divided into the Irish and Scottish Gaelic languages today. Medieval sources created a story of the descent from a figure called Gael Glass, and this word Gael is the root or the origin for the word Gael, but it goes back further than that, because this figure appears to be simply a literary creation to explain the name. The word doesn't come from Gaelic, but from Brythonic, the ancestor to modern Welsh, and from Proto-Celtic, Waelus, meaning wild. So the term originated as a name that the British people called those invading from Ireland, referring to them as being wildsmen or woodsmen. It may well have had a derogatory intention, much like the Scoti, but it was adopted by those people as a way to refer to themselves, as distinct from the British, and eventually the name made its way back to Ireland. But there was another name that people in Ireland used to refer to themselves before this, and that is Feni. This refers to a free man, but it also is cognate with the word Fenian, someone who is a member of a warrior band. Now, this concept of being free and being a warrior is intimately connected back to the Proto-Indo-European lifestyle and is very much carried on well into medieval Irish history. And this name itself also harkens back to the wilderness, wild, and wood. And so both names for the Gaels seem to refer to this concept. Yet perhaps the most ancient ethnic name for those living in Ireland is what Ptolemy identified as the Iverni, or what is most likely a rendering of the group identified in historical Irish sources as the Éireann, later a distinct ethnic group and dynasty, but who were probably originally the rulers of all of Ireland. And this name, this ethnic name of theirs, actually referred to all the early Celtic inhabitants of Ireland. Now, Éireann, it means Ireland, and it means the fertile land. And so the Éireann means those who dwelt in Ireland. It is with this group that we find most ancient kings tracing their lineage directly back to a euphemized version of Lugh, and many of their kings are named after him. Their direct ancestor is Lugath mac Ith, and later medieval sources include him in the tales of the taking of Ireland, with Ith having been the first to find it, but unjustly killed by the three sons of the Dagda when he arrived. Now this directly parallels that these were the same three grandsons of the Dagda who killed Lugh the god, and so it seems very likely that this is a conflation of two stories, one historical and one mythical, but ultimately, in origin, they're likely the same. Tara, the seat of the High King of Ireland, was said to be named for the daughter of Lugath mac Ith, and it's very likely that in origin, Lugath mac Ith played a much larger role in the mythology, but he has been somewhat pushed to the sidelines since he represents the ancestor of a dynastic line which was pushed aside hundreds of years earlier. The genealogies of Conn of the Hundred Battles and his descendants attempt to tie him into the same previous ruling group through the maternal line. And this is almost certainly also the origin of the tale of Lugh appearing to Conn and giving him his blessing and his prophecy of all of those kings that would come down from Conn's line. This is a tale to legitimize the changing of power from one group to another, and it expresses itself through mythology and through genealogies. Anyhow, I hope you found this very interesting, and if you did, please like, subscribe, and check out our Patreon page where I post unique content, Q&A videos, and such on a fairly regular basis.